So, me. And we are live. You guys ready for this?
I didn't even know. I'm glad I sat down.
I am too. Actually, I'm not, Paul. I'm not glad. Welcome to this week's episode of Talking Clones, where we will actually be talking about the last two previous episodes. As I told the gentleman to my top and bottom, I just wasn't in the headspace, right? Got a lot of things going on, and this is kind of messed with me this last week, and so they were gracious enough to postpone for a week, and so here we are talking about Deal No Deal, which is a great name. I'm only slightly disappointed, and I'll talk about that here in a moment. And
no, I thought we already talked about Deal or No Deal.
Oh no, we talked about it in the last time, like leading up to. But we didn't talk about Deal No Deal. We talked about,
any episode.
Big time.
So there have been 3 episodes in the Ahsoka story arc.
Without a trace.
Without a trace. Deal No
with
Deal.
A trace.
And Dangerous Debt. But before we get any further, let me introduce my wonderful co-hosts. To my very top, that is Paul Anthony of the Escape Pod cast. And, as always, in the bottom position, not because he deserves to be in the bottom position, but simply because there's got to be a bottom B every time. And that is the Nev. Welcome.
Hello. I'm kind of just sitting back and chilling this time.
All right. So
I might even do this. Nah, that's uncomfortable.
Quit emulating me. Here, I'm going to turn this off. There we go. Maybe that works a little bit better.
Okay, if he's going dark side, I'm going light side.
Confirmed, Nev is a power bottom. Good to know. And that's from Dr. Feelgood. So he's
the one that makes you feel all right.
He makes you feel all right, right? Okay, so first off, remember how it was like, yes, we're gonna get a full-on story arc. I think what we are seeing is Ahsoka Tano taking over the rest of the Clone Wars. I
hope not.
I'd like to. I like the development that we're getting from these characters. I think it's very, very cool. It's slow, it's gradual, it's a nice build up. You can tell that it's going somewhere. Obviously, we had some really, really important cameos, I suppose you could call them. We had some very important cameos in the last episode. So yeah, it feels nice and organic the way it's building up and building up and building up. Because we all know what it's building up to.
Oh,
and
my
that's
gosh.
what's exciting. That's what's exciting.
Yeah.
Because we all know what it's building up to.
Yeah. Oh, so excited. Okay. So that first episode with Ahsoka back was kind of disappointing. Like it was a fine standalone episode. But what it did is it introduced us to the Martez sisters. And these girls are, you've got Rafi, and I'm right there, right?
Yeah, it's Rafi. It's Rafi. It's funny that Rafa, but it's kind of funny that she doesn't call Ahsoka Tano AT.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. She should. We don't know that maybe she will later on. But here's the thing. Like we've got Rafa, and then we've got Trace, and there's this like frustration on their part, or at least on Rafa's part for bringing Ahsoka in, and it was kind of like unexpected. You're like, are you just upset that your sister's got a friend now? And over the course of these last 2 episodes, we definitely understand a lot more about this family, right? The Martez sisters and their background. Paul?
Neil, were the Martez sisters in any previous canon? Thad, were the Martez sisters in any new canon?
Not that I can tell.
No, these are new characters.
Yeah.
I hate them. I hate them.
You hate them?
No, I hate them. I hate the characters.
Really?
Yeah, I can't stand the Martez. I don't like the sisters at all. I think they're horrible.
Do you think that their purpose
They're badly written.
is effective? Really?
But they are the vehicle with which Ahsoka's story is moving forward, which is why I like the overall narrative.
Okay. All
so
right.
you could put any you could take the Martez sisters out and put in two brothers, or a brother and a sister, or a mother and a daughter, or a father and a daughter, or anything. Yeah. Absolutely anything else. It's completely and utterly irrelevant. They are what's the word that they used in The Last Starfighter for that thing that replaced Alex that was just there?
I haven't seen The Last Starfighter.
I can't remember. But yeah, you could put two of anything there and just make them the vehicle that because I don't care about the Martez sisters. All I care about is the narrative and the story of Ahsoka. That's all I care about. I don't care about the sisters. They're irrelevant to me.
So to an extent, I think you're right. And I think that you're definitely you're right. It is the vehicle. They are the vehicle that pushes Ahsoka all the way through until the Siege of Mandalore, right? But what's interesting to me is just how disconnected the universe is. And that's one of the things that I think really has stood out to me over the course of these last couple of episodes. You get these two sisters who have dreams of being star pilots, of business people, of being legitimate, right? Or at least having a business that does stuff. But then you show up to Obadiah. Is that the name of the first planet that we get to?
Obadiah, life goes on.
Life goes on, right? To Pike. No, it's Kessel. They show up to Kessel.
It's Kessel. They show up at Kessel.
Yeah, they show up. How did I forget that? Then they transport it to Obadiah, whatever. But they show up to Kessel, and I gotta say, this is not a Kessel that we've seen before. Now, granted, like the only other time that we've seen Kessel, in my experience, like is in Solo. And that's during the height of the Empire, and all bets are off at that point. So we're seeing.
There's a lot of Kessel in. There's a lot of Kessel in the extended universe.
Is there?
I was really
no visuals because it's a book. Sorry, Paul.
And it's okay. I was really hoping that we would have seen Enfys Nest.
Oh,
when they were landing on Kessel, I'm like, I really hope we see Enfys Nest somehow, some way.
It would have been a cool way to introduce the character, right? To introduce her to other than live stream. And Enfys Nest would be a great character to introduce. I mean, like hands down. Even if this is Mama Nest, not Enfys, young Nest, whatever, but. Mama Nest is going out and doing her thing. Like I think it was interesting though, because it shows how disconnected the galaxy is, right? And I think that's one of the cool things that they're doing here is by showing that you've got these people from Coruscant who blame the Jedi for everything. And in that first episode, we have no idea why. We're just like, oh, the Jedi, they suck, whatever. We don't know why, but then you get the next episode, which is like, oh, now I get it. But they go to Kessel, and they're greeted by a major domo. They're greeted by authority, and they're shown a good time. They're given spice, unrefined spice. So it's like, hey, we're in the middle of a war. We can manufacture this into all kinds of stuff. And Ahsoka, who's, experienced, she's been around the block a time or two, is like, whoa, maybe let's take a step back. I'm with you there, Neil, that they're definitely just a vehicle, and I do not think they're going to survive their time with Ahsoka at all. But
no, it'll be the next episode. It'll be it'll be cheerio. Ahsoka's off to do her own thing, and the sisters are off to do their. That's it, and then that'll be it. Yeah. Done, dusted, over with. Please, please, please don't make a bloody spin-off about them.
Oh no, they will, and I tell you, you want me to tell you what I think is going to happen? One of them will die, and it'll be the older sister. And the younger sister will blame Ahsoka.
The most unlikable of the two sisters, you mean?
Yep. Yes, the most unlikable of the two sisters.
So we knew. I mean, that can obviously be happening because the line that Rafa said, "Trace, if I die, you get the family business."
And I don't want the business, but if she dies.
And she dies, she dies.
She dies, and she's...
I'm sorry, hang on. If she dies, she dies.
I don't get the reference.
Oh,
Rocky.
Oh
my God, how do you not get the Rocky reference?
I'm a terrible person and very un-American, apparently.
Ivan Drago versus Carl Weathers. Kills Carl Weathers with a punch.
I thought he just paralyzed him.
No,
he kills him in the ring.
Okay, I need to go back and watch Rocky.
Rocky 4.
He punches him. Rocky's got the towel. He's about to throw it in, and then Ivan Drago just clocks him, and he does the super slow-mo fall to the canvas, and then Rocky drops the towel, and everybody realizes that, because it's a very, very dramatic scene, that he has to be dead, because if he wasn't dead, people would be like, why did you just over dramatize that scene? He's not dead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you missed that.
Okay, so now I feel like an idiot. Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
Don't worry, it happens all the time. So, like, oh crap, where were we?
Sisters.
Very unlikable. They are. The dialogue between the sisters is unfortunate. It's awkward. It's not great. But I can totally see the sisters being used not only to fuel more of Ahsoka's campaign, but quite possibly to fuel a connection to Maul. Now, I'm not sure how that would necessarily work, but if Maul is building the Crimson Dawn around this time, right? And he's doing his thing with being the leader of the Mandalorians, or at least Night Watch, Death Watch, is that we're at? So they're going through. I could totally see, because what we see in Ahsoka, like the book, the novelization Ahsoka, after she leaves the Jedi Order, after the Mandalorians, the Siege of Mandalore, she's done, and she tries not to connect with people. And I think part of the reason why we see her try not to connect with people is because of these sisters. I think they're going to get hurt. I think one of them is going to turn, and likely the unlikable one will die, and the likable one will become the enemy. That's where I'm thinking here. But what did you guys think of the scene where Rafa ditches the spice?
Hated it,
yeah. It's like, no, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would she do that? They're fighting, they're arguing. It's like rage quitting from a game.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
It really bugged me, because as I was watching it, I was like, okay, here you have these two people who've been living and working on their own. And yes, Rafa's not naive, or at least that's the way she's portrayed. But no one's naive enough to just dump that. That's something like a 5-year-old would do. Like, well, if they can't have it, no one's getting it. I'm going to let the poor girl out in hyperspace. Let's face it. That's what she did. She poisoned the poor girl hyperlanes. And now there's going to be a ton of, like, spiced up space whales.
The easiest way out of this is a bit of pushing and shoving, right?
Yeah.
A bit of pushing and shoving, and someone gets pushed and shoved onto the switches, which then ejects. I mean, for God's sakes, are the writers that stupid that they don't think of that?
Yeah, I don't. Well, and it bugs me because it's Dave Filoni's work. You know?
Someone's messing with Dave's work, but he has to back up that work.
And he does. Now, but again, here's the thing: they get in trouble, whether I like it or I disagree with it. Then they go through the whole ruse. I've got to say that snark that Rafa's giving, do you think you'd get away with this? Well, we wouldn't have done it if we didn't think we could get away with it. As a father of 2 little girls, I appreciate that, because honesty, we thought we could get away with it, I love that. I do. I thought that was great. But other than that, the dialogue of both of these episodes have really been frustrating to me.
I've been struggling with it, but I'm just kind of thinking of it in terms of just lift it out. This is simply a vehicle to get Ahsoka from A to B to C to D, D being what we all were waiting for, because ultimately we don't care about the journey.
No.
Because we know what the final destination is going to be. And that's what we're all waiting for. People are like, hurry up, get this goddamn journey out of the way so that we can get to the final destination, so that we can see what happens when she when she reaches the final destination. And that's why I think they're getting away with all of this kind of half-assed storytelling and bits and pieces that kind of half-assed and not really that interesting and a bit dull. It's like people are like, we don't care because we know what the ultimate prize is. And I know what. So it's like, it's not that I'm forgiving them. It's just that I'm ignoring it.
All right. And I think you're right. I think that it's easy to overlook, and it's because you know what's going to happen.
Because I've seen the if I hadn't seen the trailer, then I'd probably be tearing this episode. I'd be tearing these episodes new a-holes.
Yeah, it's what brings me hope is something that we saw Sam
Whitworth.
Whitworth. Thank you. I want to say Witwicky, and I'm like, that's not right.
Whitworth.
Sam Whitworth says that he just came. It was either a tweet last week or this week, and he said that the Siege of Mandalore is the best Star Wars writing ever. And I might be misquoting
the episode with him in it.
No. The whole. It sounded like the way that it was portrayed, to me at least, the way that I read it or read into it, and it was definitely me reading into it, was that it's the whole story arc. So once we get toward, but see, this isn't that though. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right. And right now we have them trapped. Right.
Yeah.
And we can let's just run through the first. Let's break down the first episode. It's they go on the ship, they pick up the spice, and they try to get out, and they try to do a fast one, and it doesn't work, and clearly it doesn't work, and boom goes the dynamite. They are trapped. Right? Start of the second episode. They start in jail. They escape, which I gotta say, it was cool to see Rafa or Trace actually be useful. Right? I thought that was kind of neat. I did. I thought it was like, hey, you're not just the idiot who let the spice go, but you were capable of seeing and reacting, which, based on her character so far, seemed kind of out of place.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it bugged me. Paul, what do you think?
She's a really good shot.
Yeah.
I'm just the sister's interest. The sister's interest to me so very, very little. and I've had to. I'm very glad that these episodes are less than 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
If this was, if I saw the sisters in Mandalorian, I would have a very, very different view of Mandalorian.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. The sisters are like the brother and sister. The Twi'lek brother and sister that I couldn't stand from that Mandalorian episode.
Okay, I now finally see where you were, why you were so upset.
That's my analogy. It's like nails down a chalkboard. It's like, my God.
So
stop it. Just stop it.
Like,
just no, stop it. Stop it.
That's the thing. And you have with the Mandalorian, and that's a great comparison here, because with the Mandalorian, you have the Mandalorian, who is a great counter to that sister. As annoying, as frustrating as she is, she's a great counter. You have Bill Burr, whose name escapes me, also a really good counter. Like, he did a really good job in the episode.
Yeah, I like this guy. I thought his character was quite good. But I like Bill Burr.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs. I thought Mr. Krabs was even like, he didn't bug me that much. The sister really bugged me. And then when the brother came on, the brother bugged the crap out of me. But here you only have Ahsoka offsetting these two sisters. And I think that's kind of the problem here, is you have...
We need more.
Yeah.
We need a baby Yoda.
We need a baby Yoda. Ahsoka needs a baby Yoda.
Yeah. No, Ahsoka...
Well, Ahsoka will get Baby Yoda, apparently.
I don't know. I don't know if Mando's going to let him go. I really don't. And I don't think Mandalorian will survive very much longer if Baby Yoda wasn't in it. But even, and going there, let's talk about that for a second. Friggin'... Not Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. Both of those guys have said they did not expect the reaction they got with Baby Yoda. They didn't expect it to be this big. And, so I don't know. They may rewrite episodes in season 2 or rewrite the character, but I am not entirely sure how they're going to do that.
They need to suck it up, Buttercup. That's what they need to do.
Yeah. So,
do the right thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. They need to do the right thing for the show,
Mm-hmm.
They
need to give the customers what they want.
Yeah.
And the customers want more Mando, more Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
More Cara Dune.
Anyways,
more bounty hunting.
So here's the thing, and I'm showing the trailer here. These are just the episodes that we passed. It was cool to see the Pikes. It was cool to see Kessel. I loved the Godel character, the drunk, who was like, "Hey, you got any credits?" It was awesome. I thought that was great. Do I look like someone who's got credits? Look, lady, I wouldn't have asked you if I didn't want credits from you. I loved that. And then he turns on him. Great, right? Freaking awesome. The backstory here, and I want to go back and I want to rewatch the Zero the Hutt episodes. You finally, in this final episode, you finally get why they're upset. A Jedi, in an attempt to save lives of other people, and they did, caused collateral damage and killed their parents. Right?
Did we see this? Because the person with red eyes, they were talking about Cad Bane.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to rack my brain. Did we see? And maybe Neil will remember, unless he's walked away from us.
No. I'm right here. I'm just changing the bulb.
Did we see this whole thing where they took the freighter and the freighter crashed into the wall instead of the landing pad? Did we see that before, or was that off camera?
I don't know. I think that it sounds like something we would have seen. Especially with and Neil, what are you? I mean, you jump in here with your thoughts, but I did. I only watched the Clone Wars once. There were a few episodes, a few storylines I watched a few times, but as a whole, the Clone Wars I only saw one time, and so I'm sure that I missed it. Junior Darth is saying, yeah, we did see that.
So it was Luminara. They're talking about Luminara.
Yeah, and man, I gotta say, like, that would be tough. I could understand why people would dislike the Jedi. Why, with so much collateral damage. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but as I was jumping on, I was scrolling through YouTube, and one of the videos I saw was 11 times the Jedi committed war crimes during the Clone Wars. And I see that, and I'm like, that's not necessarily wrong, because they did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they do some messed up stuff. Look what they did in that village on that planet when they were trying to retrieve Echo. You remember?
Oh yeah,
I got you thinking about the end of that episode.
Yeah,
got back to the village. They should have got on the ship and they should have flown away straight away. But they dragged the indigenous population into a war that was nothing to do with them, and hundreds of them died.
Yeah,
just for a speech. Oh, look what they did to my buddy. They're going to do that to you.
Yep.
Because if I was the chief of that village, I'd be like, not if you get on your ship and bugger off. They're not.
Yeah. Leave and we'll be
do anything to us. We've been here and they've been here for months and they haven't touched us. They haven't done anything to us. But if you're still here when they get here, they're going to kill us. Yeah. So kindly bugger off.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, no, look what they did to my buddy. They're going to. So they are capable of evils. Because I look at that scene disturbed me. Yeah. It really, really did. Don't get me wrong. I still loved the episode.
It was a great episode.
The writing. It was a great episode. It was like, watching a Bruce Lee movie, watching them go through the levels of a pagoda. But obviously, like journey, they had all the very various different hurdles to go over. It was brilliant. I loved the episode.
Yeah,
that doesn't make that scene any less disturbing. So yeah, the Jedi and the Galactic Republic were capable of some great evils.
Yeah,
but they get painted over. These things get painted. They get painted over because their government, their authority. It's like,
well, it's
illegal.
It's not just that. The Jedi are one with the Force, right? The Jedi are
and
these
the Force
people.
Is with them.
Huh?
They're one with the Force, and the Force is with them.
Yeah, but like, think about that. Like, they have almost a religious high ground that is used often. Like, hey, and that's the point here. Like, hey, you can't just say, it's all going to work out, because it doesn't always just work out, right? Sometimes it sucks, and sometimes there's collateral damage, and you've got to take, responsibility for that. Luminara, I mean, good Jedi, right? I mean, arguably, not someone who is like, oh, well, she's a bad chick. Luminara wasn't. Not to our knowledge. She seemed very stable, very level-headed, but again, it was someone who was so focused, like, I'm a Jedi. I got a bigger thing to do. Now, in all fairness, though, she did save the lives of a whole platform of people, and only a few died. And that's unfortunate. But, it's those moral problems that come up. And again, because they're the Jedi, they're this religion of sorts. I think that's part of the reason why
it's not a religion, it's an ideology. It's a slight difference.
True. And I understand, but like,
they don't pray to anything.
Valid. But to a non-believer, to an outsider, there's not going to be much of a difference. And to someone who's lost parents like that, there's not going to be much of a difference. And I think that's one of the saving graces of the sisters is they show us that. they show us how those people are affected. And more importantly, not just us, we don't care. They show Ahsoka. Ahsoka cares. Because she's no longer a Jedi. She makes that very clear in her future. I
am no Jedi.
I am no Jedi. Right? But like, that's one of the things that I think is a saving grace for these episodes. And why I think either the sisters are going to have like a dramatic exit in the next episode, or they're changing.
Well, that's where the split's going to come, because obviously they have animosity towards the Jedi. Yeah. Ahsoka has been very, very careful in using her Force powers. That she's been very, very careful in using her Force abilities so that the sisters don't see her using her Force abilities. And basically, it's going to be like you said, maybe one of them dies. And then the other sister is going to see Ahsoka trying to do something too late, use Force abilities too late. And she's going to be like, you're a Jedi. You've got Force abilities. You could have saved her, but you didn't because you were too busy trying to hide your Force abilities. Get the fuck off my ship. Yeah. And then Ahsoka goes, sister, and whatever sister. That's what's going to cause the split. Is there'll be a big reveal. It'll annoy the sisters, and that's where they'll part company, and the Mandalorians will. Yeah, that's the bit we want to see.
So here's the interesting. So let's talk about that real quick. Towards the end of the episodes, the Mandalorians show up. Cool. Bo-katan,
do we recognize the voice?
Bo-katan, Ursa Wren are the two of the three Mandos that we get. We don't necessarily know the identity of the third. She's clearly with the group, right?
Yeah. Did we recognize the voice? Was that Ursa?
Yes, not just the voice, but in credits, that is who is listed. It is listed as Ursa Wren.
So Sabine's mother.
This is Mama Sabine. This is Mama Wren. Now, someone posted that on Twitter, on Reddit, and it said that Papa Wren is probably at home watching Sabine, and my comment was, well, absolutely, that's the life of a kept man, right? Woman goes out to do the work, dad stays home, raises the kids, right? But like, you've got Ursa, and you've got I'm curious though about the third, because is it just a third character, or is it someone else? We don't know, because it's no lines, no insignia that I could notice. But what's interesting is they say, we've got this other business here. We'll keep an eye on her just in case. What I think we're going to see is Ahsoka and company will be broken out by these Mandalorians because they're needed. During the breakout, one of the sisters will die. That's when we get, that split, that animosity. They go their separate ways. Ahsoka's brought back into the Mandalorian fold. Now, the real question, and this is, I think, what everyone is wanting to talk about, what are they doing? What are the Mandalorians doing? What is Bo-katan and Ursa Wren doing on Obadiah? What are your thoughts?
Your guess is as good as mine, honestly, on this one.
Yeah, no idea. No idea.
Like, I don't know. Neville, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. I have no idea. Okay. No idea. Put your tinfoil hat on.
Yeah. So here's what I was thinking. I saw a post on YouTube today, and I want to say it was by Star Wars Speculation. It could have been by someone else. I can't remember. But they were pointing out that the Battle of Mandalore is essentially to the Mandalorian people what Order 66 is to the Jedi. potentially, and I think the video, I didn't watch the whole thing, but the video kind of sounded like it was going to go off and say that Palpatine was behind the Battle of Mandalore, the events leading up to it, taking out the Mandalorian people so that there would be no other warriors to oppose him when he took power. But I don't know. Like, actually, before the next episode, I do want to go back and reread. Darth Maul, son of Dathomir. It was the last comic. It was the last comic in old canon that was launched before the complete cutoff, but it was one of the few things that made the transition to new canon. And so it shows the events of immediately after the fight between Sidious, Maul, and Face. Maul's brother.
Savage.
Asajj. Not Asajj.
Savage.
Savage. I was close. Although one's a lot cuter than the other. Just saying. Savage has got those like arms. I'm just kidding. So it's immediately after the battle. Sidious takes Maul back to his lair. Not Savage, but the Death Watch end up breaking Maul out and, doing some stuff. And so I want to go back and reread that because I haven't read that in years. And I think that it's going to be pertinent to his rise here with this. Now I don't know. It's been a long while. So, but I think what these three here are doing is they're looking for help. And I mean, are they looking for help? Are they looking for information? There could be a number of different things. But I'm really kind of excited to see where that goes. So, what are your?
Well, I mean, there is the possibility that because obviously Maul is wanting to, Maul's wanting to set up, all of the crime syndicates and stuff like that. So maybe they were on another crime syndicate underworld planet because they're trying to find people that would subvert the organization or Maul into the organization ultimately that Maul is trying to control. It's maybe something along those lines.
I could see that. I could see that. Now, if that were the case, then they could be meeting up with the Pikes, and maybe in that meeting they're like, "Hey, you have this girl who Maul hates, and you need to let her go so that we can go." Because let's face it, if Maul is going through and kind of like rounding up all of the syndicates, those in power are gonna be like, no, F that. I don't want to be a part of that. But they're gonna want to find a way to stop him, right?
Yeah, because you got to remember that Maul is still under the control of Sidious.
That's true. That's true.
He's still Sidious's bitch boy.
Well, is he at this point?
Well, yeah, because Sidious said, "Stay here, do what I tell you. If I find a use for you, I'll find a use for you."
I'm gonna disagree. I think at this time
during the fight with Sidious and Savage and Maul.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
The fight between the three of them.
But
Savage gets defeated, and Maul's like, Savage is like, "I've got a new apprentice, a more powerful apprentice, but you will still have your uses." He could have Sidious could have killed them. True. Killed Maul, but he didn't because he wanted to keep him there to do his bidding on Mandalore.
All right. Now here's the thing. I think though that I think that Maul is a free agent though. And again, this is going to be. I'll go back and I'll read that. I'll reread that book. That series. Darth Maul. I want to say it's son of Dathomir, but I can't remember. But he's free agent-esque in my mind. I might be dead wrong, but again, I'm gonna have to jump back into that. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where this goes. Now, Paul, do you have a spoiler duck near you? Okay. Nev. Sorry. We do know.
It's cold outside.
Oh my gosh. I'm jumping over to
More or less.
I'm jumping over to IMDb. Now some of these episodes are actually listed on IMDb.
Did they?
Huh?
Did they list it? Because I haven't spoiled myself.
I'm looking right now.
No, you're spoiling me as we're.
So I won't go off into it. But it does look.
I'm pulling it up too here real quick.
So, okay. Can I just give you the title of? It's called The Phantom Apprentice. Oh man. Oh. So,
but is that official? That's the question.
Yeah,
is that truly official?
I don't know that that's official. I can promise you, Together Again is. I think that Old Friends Not Forgotten is also. I have
Together Again, Old Friends Not Forgotten, The Phantom Apprentice.
The Phantom Apprentice. Now, I'm connected with Disney as I'm a I don't even know what they call me, but like press. they've given me access to that, and so that's like the screenshots that we're seeing of the episode. Some of them I actually get from IMDb, but most of them I actually get from the Disney press release.
Right.
And so like I use them for this, and with that they've given me and any press related information through the month of April on these episodes, and I don't remember seeing the third episode, which here is The Phantom Apprentice. Awesome name if it's right, but the other two are, and it sounds like with Together Again, we're going to see the reuniting of Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker, and if that is the case, awesome.
All right. So can we let Neil back in?
Let's put it down.
Okay.
Okay. Now, before we get to any rankings, was there anything in these two episodes that was redeemable for either of you? Paul, we'll start with you.
I mean, the little parts where Ahsoka was using her force powers was pretty much the only redeemable parts. Where she's tricking the Pikes, you'll let us go. Or when she gave Trace the little push when she was making the jump, and then her athleticism using the force.
Her line there is my favorite line of the whole two episodes. I'm more athletic than I look. I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah. I honestly, that was really the redeemable parts of these episodes. Her also using the force to unlock the door.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to see Star Wars in a Star Wars Clone Wars episode.
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting there going the life and times of Trace and Rafa Martez.
Awesome. Neil, anything redeemable in your mind?
The Star Wars stuff in the episode of Star Wars.
The Star Wars stuff in the episode of Star Wars. I gotta say, and I'm gonna put this back up here real quick. The thing that I loved, and I had forgotten about this until I went to IMDb and looked for pictures for the episode, for our episode tonight. Seeing Admiral Yularen again, I thought that was really cool. It's just a very brief moment, right? It's that first episode where they're trying to get off Coruscant. Trace apparently has never flown anything before in her life, and now she's decided to take the lives of her and her sister and Ahsoka in her hands. And
not just that, but other people around them. So all the stuff that she's been bottling up and being upset about, she's disregarding and flying off into space. But Yularen has this back and forth with the two of them, is like, what are you doing? You're stupid. Why are you being so stupid? Stop being stupid. Like, it's Yularen being a rule keeper, right? And then there's that moment with Anakin. He's like, let this one go, right?
Yeah.
He senses her. I thought that was really cool. It wasn't until we started talking about this and I kind of unpacked it for myself. The idea that these are people who've experienced more than they're letting on, and how they will eventually affect Ahsoka. I think that makes it somewhat redeemable. Like, if I dive too much into it, it loses a lot of its value. But it's that, it's that redeemable aspect that it's like we can kind of see that, or at least Ahsoka can see that. Let's go ahead and jump into, how do you rate it? Paul, then Neil.
All right. So for the first episode, it loses 1.5 points for Trace dumping the spice. I mean, that was a big what the hell are you doing moment for me.
Yeah.
And then it loses another point for making me realize that there was yet another Trace and Rafa episode to come. So it gets 3 out of 5.
That's 2.5 points, though. What's
that?
That's 2.5 points.
3 out of 5? No.
But you said a 1.5.
Well, fine. All right. It's 2.5.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep you honest here, Paul.
I was trying to be nice.
No.
And then this latest episode, a little bit better. The appearance of the Mandalorians made me excited for what's to come. And so therefore that one gets a 4 out of 5, a 3.5 out of 5. And they all come together for the past 2 episodes. They get an overall 3. Neil, over to you.
3 out of 5 for both of them for me.
All right. So just adequate, not great, not poor.
Yeah, adequate. Yeah, like I said, that they could have come up with something. They could have come up with something more original than a couple of sisters.
Yeah.
That suffered at the hands of the Jedi. I mean, they're boring.
Yeah.
The 2 sisters are boring. They had the opportunity to make that exciting. They could have introduced a couple of more, this is going to sound weird, but that they could have, the beauty of the Star Wars universe is its diversity. Bring in a couple of aliens, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's not even a plucky droid,
Yeah, and there's no plucky droid.
There's always a plucky droid.
Plucky droid in there that could have, bounced off the younger sister or a younger brother, or a kid. I mean, why not throw in, a single mother looking after, trying to raise a kid because, the father, the made them alien. It was boring. The character, and it's not always going to be a hit.
Yeah,
I get that. I understand that not every character that they come up with is going to be a hit. I mean, previous 6 seasons, there were characters throughout the previous 6 seasons that I couldn't stand. You remember the episode on that Hoth-type planet, and you've got that blue general guy. Couldn't stand that character. Could not. I was like, my God, you've written such a boring, dull, one-dimensional character. Oh, enemy over there, must kill enemy. This planet is mine. So sometimes they will come up with characters that are misses, and this is one of those occasions where they've just come up with a character that's a miss. It's not a hit, it's a miss. And Paul agrees with you'd agree with me on that, wouldn't you, Paul? Sometimes in previous seasons they just come up with characters that are just pants. Most of the time the characters are good, but every now and then they come up with a couple of duds, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, this is the Mara Jade of the new universe.
Well, I'll tell you this real quick. I'm going to jump in.
Didn't even get a reaction. Sorry, Paul.
I
was trying to poke the bear a little bit, but nothing. Sorry. Go ahead.
When it comes down to in Rebels, I think I could count on one hand how many misses of characters there were for Rebels. But I need to take my shoes off to count how many misses of characters there were in Clone Wars.
Okay.
And I think that it just suffers from Clone Wars fatigue. They have to finish the story somehow. They have to put the blame on somebody without giving tarnishing an established character. Mm-hmm. Because before this, we didn't have season 7.
Yeah.
We sucked it up and said, okay, we get 6 seasons and half finished 4 episodes of 7. Mm-hmm. So they have to create these characters that are probably going to be misses, but I'll take 30 minutes of a lightsaber battle between Ahsoka and Maul.
Yeah, it's coming eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and I agree that these are. Here's the thing. I think these are sleepers. I think these are sleeper episodes. And what I'm hoping is in the next episode, we find something or something happens that that makes these two or that pushes Ahsoka in a direction. I do. And or pushes someone in a direction that helps further develop a character, right? Maybe we see someone, like Ursa Wren or Bo-katan. I almost said Boba Fett, but Bo-katan. Maybe we see something from their perspective that helps better to develop who they are in Rebels, in Clone, or who they were maybe in Clone Wars. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping. Kind of like that moment where Anakin just murders Spider-Man.
Ugh, didn't murder him.
No, he didn't murder him. He was attacked first, and then he fought back, and he retaliated. I get that,
but he used the
dark side there. I mean, the only reason I'm saying it's murder and not just a casualty of war is like he tapped into his dark side there, Neil. I mean, he's like,
agree to disagree.
You don't think he tapped into his dark side?
I don't.
What?
You see what I have to deal with? This is why you keep us apart.
Oh, this is why Neil's in the bottom.
This is why I'm the light side. This is why I'm blue and glowy, and Paul's like red and evil and wrong.
No, and okay, I will say that I agree to disagree because we don't necessarily know. I'm the only one without a cool lightsaber.
I don't have a cool lightsaber.
Oh, I do have some really cheesy cool lightsabers. I love.
I do have cool black lights though.
That's true.
The dark side has lightsabers.
The dark side and cookies, but those cookies do have raisins in them, and that's why they're the dark side. Dark side cookies are not for good consumption. So, I do think that these are sleeper episodes, and I do think that they're going to further help. I think they're going to help further develop the character of Ahsoka. There are a lot of really cool story arcs that should have been in episode 7 that weren't, or season 7 that weren't. One of them sits behind me, which is where is it? Dark Disciple. I gotta see. There we are. It is if you read one book this year, it is the story of Asajj Ventress. It wraps up what happens with her, and I keep wanting to call him Kit Fisto, Quinlan Voss, and I hated Quinlan Voss in the early seasons of Clone Wars. I thought he was a giant douchebag, but that book just
solidifies it.
Well, no, it's heart-wrenching. It is a powerful book that in my mind, and maybe, again, I read way too much into this stuff, but dives into the danger of what the Jedi were actually making, what the Jedi as a whole made the Jedi do to maintain the status of a Jedi. Right? Quinlan, even though he's shady and douchey and all that other stuff, he is a Jedi who lives by the code of sorts, right? He may bend a rule, but he never breaks a rule. And working with Asajj, he breaks a number of rules, and it's powerful to see. And again, adding to a whole mythos of Star Wars, just so cool. I give this a 3, both of these episodes, and that is above average. That's, remember, a 2.5. Even though Paul gave,
but not that much above average.
It is not that much above average. Originally, I'd probably give it a 3. Both as an arc where I'm thinking that this is going to go. I think the arc will probably be closer to a 3.5 to a 4 for me. But as individual episodes, I would give them a 3 to a 3.5 at most. They're simple. They're simple episodes. They push the story along. They are a device. They are moving the story, but that's pretty much it. They're not characters that we're fans of, with the exception of Ahsoka. There are some definite missteps when it comes to how things played out, in my mind. With what's her face, with Trace dumping the spice and then being able to take on like 6 Pike members. Those things don't seem to connect, right?
I can see Trace being able to take on the Pike members, but because she's had to deal with what her remember, she said, "Let's get this over with," when Bobby Moynihan showed up.
That's true. But let's face it, it's Bobby Moynihan, and no, he's not that intimidating, right? Like, they're gonna hold on. Let's jump over there real quick. I'm sure they gave him a real name, but it wasn't a real name. He was really just Bobby Moynihan. He was playing himself. Pintu Sonel is his name. Which isn't Pintu like a swear in Spanish? I don't know. My Spanish isn't great.
It's very close to one.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it is. That's right. I'm pretty sure he was just channeling.
He's named after a bean.
I guess that's true. He was probably just channeling his inner Bobby Moynihan. So no, I do. I give this a 3.5 or 3 each episode. I do think it's going to be a better arc once we get the full story, but watching it episode by episode is kind of painful, right?
We got 5 left.
We do have 5 left, and if more Bobby Moynihan, you're right, Junior Darth. I 100% agree. We need more. But so I was just reading Darth Revan's comment about cookies. They're good, but they're outshined by macadamia nut. That's absolutely true. Oatmeal raisins, they're okay, but macadamia nut cookies, those are delicious. And
white chocolate chip
macadamia nut cookies, forget about it, right? Just amazing. I won't take this in that direction just yet, but my wife makes these cookies, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and then whole chocolate or what's that type of chocolate that everyone loves? I can't even remember.
Dark
milk chocolate. That's the one. Like, oh, it's so good.
You'll have to bring some in June.
It's like crack. Well, assuming that we're not still under like
assuming anybody can move in June.
So, but I do love the white chocolate chip macadamia nut cookies. They are delicious. Okay, so we've talked about this. I think on what is that? On average, it's a 3. It's a 3. It's a basic 3.
Above average.
Oh yeah.
Barely.
Yeah, Junior Darth, you're right, man. Macadamia nut can't hold a candle to caramel. Okay, hold on. If we're gonna take it there, let's talk about Girl Scout cookies. We took
Thin Mints.
There are no other. Thin Mints are the only thing that you should be buying from the Girl Scouts. Caramel Delights, or I believe here in Utah they're called Samoas.
Girl Scout
they have Jason Samoas in Texas as well.
I don't do Girl Scout cookies. I always make my own.
They're good, but man, caramel, but Thin Mints. I mean, like I could eat a whole freaking sleeve of thin. I actually almost ate a sleeve of party-sized double stuffed mint Oreos the other day, with milk just dipped in. It was delicious. It was so good. I love cookies. Anyways. So anyways, I do think that we're going to see a lot of stuff coming, and I'm hoping that this next episode is the beginning of the end for this series, and we'll start to see more and more about.
I hope we get a good reunion.
I do too. What we saw with that teaser that we saw at the very beginning when this was first launched, and Anakin and Obi-Wan are walking in, and all right, I'm putting pieces together. Nev, hold on, no, Nev, this is not a spoiler duck. You've seen the trailers, right?
Trailer for what?
The Clone Wars.
Yeah, but I've seen the generic ones. I don't watch.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Just the generic. Going to be in
the next week.
Just the generic ones. You've seen
just the generic.
Anakin and Kenobi walk in, and Ahsoka's on,
the holotable,
right?
Yeah.
Who's with her? She's with Bo-katan, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, clearly Bo-katan is going to reunite here, right? They're going to have that moment. Anakin's going to have that moment. I don't know if that's going to be in the next episode, but it's coming up soon, right? You've got the moment where they do bring her back, and I don't know, is it Rex that is Ahsoka? That they bring on Clan Ahsoka, right? Is that, I
think you're right.
Right? They put the gear on, and it's all the Ahsoka helmet, and I think that whatever's about to take place, we could see Ahsoka flying off to, Camp. I almost said Camp David, wherever camp they're back at back in the old system where Anakin and Kenobi are. Clearly, they haven't left if that's where they're receiving that holo transmission. But I think that something's going to get them pulled to Mandalore, and that's going to be where it all goes down. Dude, I'm excited. These next 4 episodes, I am freaking stoked. And hold on, let me just jump back over here real quick. Jumping over to all episodes, season 7 is episode. No, okay. I was gonna say the final episode I thought was gonna air on the 4th. It doesn't.
No.
Episode 11 is the first, and then 12 is the 8th. So
we have the 4th to talk about it.
Yes. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. And here's the thing. I'm not only excited. I mean, I'm excited to see how the story ends, but I'm also excited to see where it goes. Like I do now that we're seeing this all play out, I do want to go back and read that episode, that comic series, and I will probably even go back and reread Ahsoka, the book. I mean that it's a pretty simple story, and it's not a lot to it, but man, I think there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be going in and around there. Anyways, I'm rambling. Gentlemen, what do you got coming up this week?
So for the Escape Pod Twitch channel, Monday will be Jackbox Games. I may do a little bit of Banana Bunch or Nanner Bunch, as we call it, Fortnite, possibly on Wednesday, I'm thinking, if I don't do anything for Trivia Night. Thursday, we have Marbles on Stream, and then Friday is our season finale, season 2 finale of the Escape Pod cast, and special guest Heinze will be joining us for the season finale. We'll talk to him from the deep recesses of space where he launched himself out of after trying to frame me for Scotty McLaren's murder.
We will be observing some heavy social distancing so that Paul doesn't, get killed by him or an attempt is not made on his life. So, yeah.
Which is good.
Even in space, people practice social distancing.
Yeah, parsecs away, right? Awesome. I've been working with, I believe it's Junior Darth.
Yes. Yep. Run DMV.
Okay, I was gonna say he's got a few different names going out there. We've got a pretty awesome surprise for Paul here in the next.
Well, I have to get my hands on the stuff so I could get it all taken care of for you too.
All right, so we're excited about that. I just posted my books worth binging. I still haven't come up with a title yet.
I like that. I like that. I do.
Books worth binging, or I don't know. Like I've got like the title, the thumbnail title, and then I've got something else. And I honestly, talking about Luminara tonight, and I mean, clearly I want to read all those other stuff, but talking about Luminara tonight makes me want to go back and reread MedStar 1 and 2, which I believe she was the main character in. And it's essentially like MASH, but Star Wars. So, I remember enjoying it, but it's been a while. So, the Gunslinger and Junior Darth just asked, the Gunslinger, hands down one of my favorite books. I do. I listen to it all the time. I've read it 2 or 3 times. It is the whole series. Phenomenal. Anyways, yes. Well, gentlemen, this is it. Thank you for coming on tonight, spending more than our normal allotted time.
That's all right.
And talking about Star Wars and cookies, right?
I mean, we started talking about Pauly Shore in the middle of a Picard review.
And I think that was time well spent.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And Buffy.
Oh, and Ozark season 3. I'm just about to finish watching that, dude. So if you want to do talking Ozark, I'm more than on board for that.
Okay, and I might have to do that because, like, my wife's like, we've got to finish season. I haven't finished season 2.
Hurry up, because season 3 is awesome.
Okay, so we watched season 1. It was great. We loved it. I think we got into season 2, but I don't know how far, and we just stopped. But like right now on Rotten Tomatoes, as I was looking up Picard to see how it was reviewed, I was seeing what else was. It's 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's good. And
3 is
good. So really good. Quick, I do want, if you for some reason can't be bothered to go into clicking the Amazon storefront or becoming a, clicking Going Nerdy stuff. If you want to join Audible and support Thaddeus at the same time, just go to escapepodcastaways.com and click on the Going Nerdy offer to sign up for free Audible.
I need to make sure that link is in there.
It's not.
Oh, I feel like an idiot. Sign up for free Audible. There's no reason not to. I mean, it's free. You sign up, you get 2 books for free. It's awesome. You help me out. It's wonderful. I get like a very, very small kickback, which then allows me to buy more of these foam things here in the back. One day I'll have a whole wall.
And I need more black lights because 3 just isn't enough.
Yeah, you need a far away white light to light you up a little bit.
Nev does?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, anyways, Fallen Order is amazing. I have considered doing some streams just of me playing that. I played it on the easiest mode, and now I want to go back and play it on like death mode and see how long it takes me, because I suck. And
I just enjoy story.
Yeah.
I enjoy, going back and collecting things and all that, but having a game be hard for being hard's sake, that's not my style.
Yeah.
It's like putting it on the hard mode is like going into Jedi Fallen Order, pretending that you are a Galactic Republic character and you're going into light side Geonosis territory battle. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't do it to yourself.
No, because when I was a kid and I played Mortal Kombat 2, I had to progress, easy, normal, very hard. And I can complete Mortal Kombat 2 on very hard. I mean, Shere Khan.
Yeah.
Shere Khan. Shao Kahn is an absolute nightmare, and he took me forever to beat. But when I beat him, it was like,
it's such a great feeling. I gotta say, I jumped on last night, and I didn't play for too long. I was playing Battlefront 2. I didn't realize that they had like the Resistance stuff out, and so I was Resistance Sniper because I suck with everything else, and I was just sitting back behind the Tantive 5, and I was just popping fools. I got like 15 to 20 kills in a row, and it was great. I had to turn it off because my wife got mad at me for playing in the first place because the house was a mess and I didn't help clean, and so but it was, I finished the game, of course, because she was already at that point, she was already mad at me, and I had a great kill streak. And like I play Xbox One, so
wait a minute, Thaddeus, you play Xbox One?
Yeah.
Are we friends?
I don't know if we are.
I have Xbox 360, but the disk drive doesn't open on my Xbox 360, so I only play stuff on the hard drive, which means I only play Minecraft.
I did last night. I was right before I went to bed. I saw Gridden and Heinze playing, and it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. So, and I saw them killing each other with Ewoks, and it was pretty great.
Okay. So. Right. Okay. So, how many times have you said we're wrapping up now?
Okay, we are wrapping up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, gentlemen. Thank you. As always, this is one of the highlights of my Sundays. Love talking Star Wars with you guys. Love talking Clone Wars, and I'm hoping that we get a lot more stuff here in the near future. So, this has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, Paul from the Escape Podcast, and Nev from the Escape Podcast. Join us every Sunday as we talk clones, and if I can ever finish Ozarks, maybe talking Ozarks. So,
and talking Witcher.
We still have to. I haven't watched it a second time. Nope. I'm not gonna. You almost opened the rabbit hole.
Let's not start now. Let's just
the rabbit hole because I'm gonna talk about other shows. Maybe we just like have a live cast where we just talk about television shows that we're watching.
Okay. We'll do that.
Talking TV, right? Or some
talking TV. There you go.
So, anyways, thank you for subscribe, share. This has been us, and as always, stay nerdy, smile, and stay nerdy. Do it. Oh, and wash your hands make good
And be nice to
choices.
each other, damn it.
Right.